Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, however you might be watching/listening. Thank you for making this part of your day. I am Justin,
Alexander.
and we are the hockey podcast you're about to hear. And Alexander, did I tell you I think I might have some kind of iron deficiency? Yeah, well, my shirts have been very wrinkled lately, so I might think there might be something to do with that. But so on that note, let's get started, shall we? Kind of do a little bit of review recap for where we are to get up to this point. And so, what do you think? Want to start with Columbus and Toronto?
That's probably the most recent thing because here we are Monday after Columbus and Toronto played their game five, which saw Toronto lose or Columbus
Yeah,
win. I'm not sure which way to really go on that,
a
but
little bit of both.
a little bit of both, seeing as neither one of them really seemed to want to win or lose, seeing as they both figured out a way to blow a three-goal lead
Yeah,
in different games.
yeah.
They kind
So
of took
Colum-
turns making history, I guess.
Columbus 2 inches to the right, game four would have sealed it.
Yeah, and just a quarter inch to the left would have changed the outcome probably of the game last night if Tavares could find a way to hit an open net. Um,
Yeah, ugh.
so yeah, it was a very entertaining series.
It
I will say
was
that.
probably one of the better ones,
Probably,
I think.
oh, definitely. Well, it went 5 games. I thought so many more
I
games would
did
go
too.
5 games with all these playing rounds. It's like
That's the most
that
surprising
would have
thing to
been
me.
great. Yeah.
I thought at least three, maybe four games rounds would go to five.
Well, we had Elimination Friday where there was 6 games that had elimination potential. 5 teams were eliminated Friday.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
crazy.
ridiculous. Like, whoa. So I thought for sure there'd be a few more games that pushed it out just one more and get to 5 games and give us a full thing, but uh, that was not the case. So
No, no, it was not.
very entertaining. I think it's probably good because then guys are ready to rock and roll for tomorrow and Wednesday when they kick off the next round of things, which is it's the next round, but it's also the first round. So basically, you just have to think that everything leading up till now has really just been the end of the regular season, essentially, and now actually starting the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Everything before this actually isn't truly the Stanley Cup playoffs. Um,
Right.
so a lot of interesting things that kind of came out of that. Every year, as you end a season, there's teams that you think will be in that fall out, and things that you think teams that you won't make it in somehow find a way to make it in. So we kind of had that this year with obviously the Blackhawks being in the round of 16, the Oilers not, or Montreal being in the round of 16, and the Penguins not.
I mean,
There's,
sorry.
yeah, there's just those kind of interesting things that have happened here over the past 10 days of bubble hockey, and I'm okay with it. I think not having a dog in the fight, being a Wings fan, it was more of us like, just entertain
Right?
me. That's all I
Yeah,
care. And I felt very entertained.
that's good. Yeah, that's one of the nice things. Like the only thing you take comfort in and not having a dog in the fight is hey, I mean, assuming of course there's a few teams that you really don't want to make it. Other than that, it's pretty nice watching.
Yeah, and right now, as we stand, I'd say there's only 3 teams that I don't want to see to keep moving on. That's going to be
Boston.
Chicago, Boston, and Dallas.
Yep.
Those are the only 3 teams I would say
Oh,
I don't want to watch them win the cup. Everybody else, let's go for it. And
even
so if we could find
Colorado.
even Colorado, because I got friends that are Colorado fans and whatnot. It'd be nice to see somebody enjoy their team winning the cup. I didn't know any St. Louis Blues fans. I don't know any Washington Capital fans. I refuse to know any Pittsburgh Penguin fans. So um, no, I think it would be, and I think they do it in a very entertaining way. I think it'd be fun to watch go and win the cup with that Colorado team. Uh,
Yeah.
so, but no, it's been a fun playing round. There was those round robin games between the top 4 seeds of each conference. They each played each other. Their 3 games to kind of determine their seeding. Um,
Which, how do you
I
feel
think,
about that, by the way? I think we talked about it before, but bring it up again.
yeah, I think that the there's some teams that are playing chess while others are playing checkers,
Oh yeah.
and so there's 2 teams of those 3 that lost all 3 of their games. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know who those 2 teams were?
Let's see here. So that'd be St. Louis,
Yep.
and then was it Boston?
Yeah. What do those two teams have in common?
Weren't they the top in each conference?
They were the top of each conference,
And they played in the cup last year.
and they were the Cup finalists last year. If you want to sit here and tell me that those two teams don't know how to play this tournament, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So I don't see where those two teams, losing all three games is suddenly like, oh, there's something wrong with Boston. There's something wrong with St. Louis.
No.
They were playing exhibition games, getting ready for the Stanley Cup Finals,
Right.
like the whole playoff, so not just the finals, the whole playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they could tune up, they could figure out, they could line adjust, they could play different goaltenders, they could rest guys, they could let guys heal, whatever they needed to do. Whether they win or lost didn't matter because ultimately, when it comes to any playoff format, it is just get in, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And they were guaranteed a spot in, and it couldn't be worse than fourth.
Right.
So you know
So.
what? Just get in.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do. That's all they did.
Yeah. Job's done. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just do a little bit. Make sure you play hard enough to not get hurt, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just get ready. Because you have no
Yeah.
control over who you're gonna face. So, but you get a home run.
Don't do anything that gets one of your guys suspended or anything. It's like
Yeah.
you're not in a fight for your life at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
relax, get ready for it when it gets real. And I think those teams are. Now that may not be reflected in the picks we're going to do later.
Yeah.
I think this team is going to go, all the way or whatnot. But I think they were playing a different game than teams like Tampa Bay and Colorado that were trying to prove something, or certainly
Yes.
Philadelphia.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Yes.
I felt there were certain teams that were like, we're trying to prove or still figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You look at, like, take Vegas. Vegas is still working under a new coach this year.
Right.
Boston, St. Louis, Washington, Tampa Bay, they've all been under the same management now for a while. They have their stuff figured out. Teams like Philadelphia are still in their first year with their coach. And so
Mm.
I can see where the teams that ended up doing well in the playing rounds are the teams that had a reason to try to play well in the playing rounds. The teams that didn't, not that
Yeah.
big a deal.
Right. Yeah.
Really not that big a deal.
Yeah. And especially looking at last year, how many number one seeds and number two seeds did we get knocked off? Like the winner of each division got bounced last year. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there's not always a high incentive to
Mm-hmm.
do well and get the first seed, which sounds counterintuitive, but like you said, once you're in, and that's what matters.
It is. It really, really is. And so I've seen some stories and stuff on NHL.com today that was like, Blues need to, straighten up and fly right or something like that as far as, oh, well, they have issues. They got to find a way to play better if they want to make it through this. And it's like,
Nah, I think they'll be alright.
I think they were playing exhibition while everybody else was playing the real thing. So
Right.
let's chill for a minute. Until they're down 2 games to Vancouver, I'm not worried. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really either. Especially when they played Allen in their last game instead of Bennington, and still played
Yep.
very well. Well, didn't give up that many goals, like at
And
all.
it's not like the home ice advantage matters in this tournament other than
Right.
line changes. That's
Yep.
it. That's as far as I can tell the only potential benefit you could have. And if you're a team like Boston or St. Louis, they won a lot of games on the road in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. So I was like,
They don't
whatever.
need last line change. They're good, stinking hockey teams.
Yes. Yes,
I'm
they
not worried
are.
about them. I'm not worried about them from that standpoint. As far as being ready to play.
Yep.
When we get to the picks, you may see a little bit of discrepancy in what I'm saying right now, but we'll get there eventually. What else do you want to hit on from the playing rounds that we saw?
So I'm just happy the Flames got in. I thought for sure that series was going to go to 5, and I
Yeah.
changed my mind after the Flames won the first game. I'm like, nope, I want these guys to get in. I don't care about the first round pick or first overall pick. I want these guys to get in.
Might have had that one just going 3 games, thinking that the Jets would basically mop them up.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Jets kind of had a few issues.
Yeah, a few.
If you want to say that.
The
That
injury
kinda changed the
bug
outcome.
kind of came back and bit him again.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yep. Yep. There's a little controversy around one injury.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
about to say, what's
uh,
your thoughts on the Shifley injury?
I didn't go back and slow it down frame by frame. I will say this: if it's anybody other than Kachuk, it's a non-story.
Uh huh.
Uh,
I agree.
and I think more was made of it because the coach for Winnipeg, Paul Maurice, came out and tried to call Chuck out on it and call him a dirty player and say he was intentionally trying to cut his Achilles. Like these kind of things to fire up his team and try and get them to be like, okay, we've been wronged
Kind of rally
by,
around.
yes, basically their guy came and tried to take out our player and now he's gone and we're going to struggle. No, we're going to man up, brother together, and we're going to go
Mm-hmm.
beat these guys. And they came out the next game and did win.
Yeah.
And then the reality of the situation settled in, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're probably not going to beat Calgary without our best two forwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just Kachuk playing reckless and fast and high speed, and Shifley saw him coming and made an adjustment, and Kachuk couldn't. I mean, he was already committed at that point, so there's nothing else he could do. So I think it
Mm-hmm.
was just a freak play and freak accident. And like, I mean, you even see Kachuk kind of say sorry to him as he skates off the ice. If it was intentional, I highly doubt Kachuk would be saying anything to him as he's coming
Mm-hmm.
off. But
So, yeah, it is what it is.
yep.
I think everybody's kind of moved on already at this point. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yep, we're good.
Yep. Nope. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking on it. But like I said, just excited they're in. I don't. Still keep going back and forth on how they'll do next round, but we can get into that here in a minute.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So
So you ready to transition from the play-ins to the night off, which was the draft lottery,
yes.
which means everybody that lost and is out of the now playoffs in the play-in rounds, those 8 teams went into a draft lottery, which ended up being for the number one overall pick in this year's draft, due,
Garbage.
due to reasons we have talked about previously. And if you want to listen to that, go back to the previous episode and you'll hear a rant on
Oh yes, it's
why
quite
the
a good one.
NHL is just stupid.
Yes.
Ah, so without getting worked up about that, what I want to do is just move on to what happened tonight,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was the New York Rangers getting the number one overall pick in this year's draft. What were your thoughts when you found that out, Justin?
I was actually pretty okay with it. Like, kind of excited because it wasn't the Penguins, it wasn't the Oilers, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the Leafs,
Mm-hmm.
who I felt were three teams that absolutely did not deserve it. I'm glad it wasn't the Canucks because division rival. And then the other four teams I thought were teams that could actually use it. And so yeah, to hear the Rangers, I was pleasantly surprised it was the Rangers.
Yeah, there was. I would almost say, like, if I had to choose a place for him to go, this might have actually been the place of the 8 teams that were an option.
Yeah.
Um, One, I'm trying to protect my team in my division from having another elite goal scorer in it. There's enough of them
Uh-huh.
already.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want, obviously, I didn't want to see Toronto get another star forward
Same
on a
here.
cheap, affordable deal that they could really use to be basically to have more pressure on them to win and still
Uh,
not be able to. That's not fair to that poor
yeah.
kid.
No.
Um, if he wants to have a long, successful career, he'll know be the fourth fiddle in in Toronto for a while.
All right. Good job.
Which
You get started in the second
might,
line. What?
might be good for development, and he might be a highly qualified second line player, but that's not going to happen because they didn't win. He went to Edmonton. Honestly, McDavid looks like he needs some line mates.
Yeah.
Looks like they kind of figured out the dry side of line this year. McDavid was kind of thrown together. Like, if you're playing with Zach Cassian on the top line as McDavid, you got an issue on your team because that's not Tom Wilson. You know,
Yeah.
um, like I say, Tom Wilson's a unicorn, and Zach Cassian is a unicorn's behind. And so I
I would
feel
agree.
like
I would
uh,
agree.
it would have been an interesting fit to put McDavid at center with a really, really talented scoring wing and see what would happen.
Yeah.
The thing is, honestly, this is more of a tangent. I'm not sure McDavid's style is going to succeed well in the NHL with line mates because so much of the time
Mm.
is okay. Let's just free McDavid and let him go do his thing.
Right.
It's not a team player. As much as I dislike Crosby, he made the guys around his line better and incorporated them into the offense. When you play
Yep.
with McDavid, it's more so let's get McDavid the puck.
Get him the
It's like
puck
having that,
and get him out of the way.
yeah, it's like having that one guy on your team in whatever sport you're playing. It's like, yeah, as long as he's here, we got a shot to win, and just kind of feed him the ball or
Yeah,
whatever
give
you got to
Jordan the
do.
ball. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
so he can do what he needs to do. Otherwise, you don't stand a shot at winning. That's
Yeah.
kind of seems where we're going with McDavid. Everybody agrees he's the best player in the world,
Oh yeah. I mean,
but
just look at his hat trick he had. That was insane.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Um,
unreal.
but in the end, they couldn't win, and
No.
so like there's examples from basketball of guys that like they go off for like 35 points a game,
Mhm.
but anytime they score more than 35 points a game, their team loses
Right.
because it's just too lopsided. You don't have a good team balance, and hockey needs a good team balance.
Yeah.
And there's part of me that's saying maybe McDavid's kind of going down a road here where it's like he needs to dial it back and not be this high flying whiz kid breakaway specialist
Mhm.
and look more at Crosby as a distributor, as somebody that is going to help his teammates get better. Because, yeah, if you're on McDavid's team and you celebrate a goal that he scored, you're like, yeah, we scored. It's like, actually,
Woo!
McDavid scored.
I was on the
Um,
ice when he scored.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'll probably develop that thought more over the coming seasons, and I may come back to it as
Yeah.
I get a little bit more evidence and things to look at with that goggle on. But
Right.
no, I think it'll be interesting for them. But they're not going to have Lafreniere. He is
Ah,
going
yes.
though to the Rangers, which I think is a good fit because the league is better apparently when teams in big markets are doing better. And
Right. Just more
the
draw.
Rangers have not been doing well. When the Philadelphia Flyers haven't been doing well, it hurts the league's revenue and draw and popularity
Mhm.
because they're still going to throw the Rangers on a Sunday afternoon on
Yeah.
NBC
Right.
when they play Boston or when they play Philadelphia or when they play Washington or when they play Pittsburgh. Like they're going to be like, oh, this is a big game. Look at these two teams that everybody should know and these players. This at least puts somebody else on the map with that organization that is a main draw that could be
Right.
fun to watch and turn on. It's not just like, oh, hey, here's another Stahl brother you didn't know existed playing for the
Wait, what?
Rangers.
He's still
Yeah,
playing? What?
yeah, no. Yeah, I'm convinced it's just one Stahl brother. He just keeps changing his name every time he goes somewhere else, and he's like
Uh-huh.
bionic or something. He can play for
Mhm.
40 years.
Yeah. Right.
So, um, no, I kind of like him going to the Rangers, actually.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I do too.
it'll take a young, upcoming team that has been very well GM'd.
Yes.
I feel in the pieces they've acquired and how they've acquired them has been good. Sure, they won second overall last year and got Capo Caco. Then they
Mhm.
win first overall this year. You kind of need that kind of luck to really change an
Oh yeah.
organization on the quick. Um,
Absolutely.
they're going to be able
And
to, and they have goaltending. So
so I think they're starting to turn around a lot faster than people are expecting to anyway.
mhm.
So
I think it would be a shrewd move though to say, you know what, we have Panarin already at left wing.
right. Yeah.
We have a
That's
pretty
very
good
true.
team. Could we get both of Ottawa's picks, their 3 and 5
Yeah.
pick, and then they could go get still a forward and a defenseman because they're going to need defensemen
You
in,
always need
in New
defensemen.
York.
Oh man.
Um, so yeah, we will see how that goes. But when I saw that lottery ball come up, I wasn't upset.
Yep. Yep. Same here. When I saw that text come across, it's like, oh, all right. Yeah. So we're good.
Somebody did make a GIF of the lottery balls in there, and just before the Rangers ball goes in, there's the Leafs ball that goes up and kind of hits off the edge and falls back down, and then the Rangers ball is the next one up and gets sucked up into the top. And so they made the comparison that, hey, the Leafs lottery ball and John Tavares, they both hit the post in critical situations. Uh,
I mean,
and it was fantastic.
that's
Um,
hilarious.
it's like, guys, you were literally just
Oh,
this close.
that's yeah.
Uh, it's like, whoo, we avoided that one for sure.
Yeah. Right. Hey man,
Yeah,
wait 4 months just to get bounced in the qualifying round.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, at least they don't have to play Boston this year, so there's that.
True. That's true. Um, okay, then we should probably, I think, head on to making some predictions that are sure to go wrong.
Yeah, I like it.
That's
I'm
kind of the only
game.
prediction I make. Yeah.
Oh yeah, best kind.
So let me pull up my NHL bracket challenge because that one's nice because that one actually fills in as you
Yep.
go, uh,
Okay.
which is going to be tricky.
Right.
Going to be tricky. So
Okay.
sounds like sweet little Hadassah has hiccups tonight.
She does.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are so sweet.
Oh no, yeah, she had him in the middle of church yesterday too. It was quite humorous.
Darling.
Oh
Okay,
yes.
where do you want to start? East or west?
Oh, let's start with the East because I'm trying to get signed into.
Okay. Well, I'll get us kicked off in the East here then. We have
Yeah.
the Philadelphia Flyers as our number one seed, playing the hapless Montreal Canadian Habs. I'm still not sure whether they're the Montreal Habs or the Canadian Habs or the
Right.
Montreal Habs. It's like I only need one name for a team. Anyway,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
well, apparently it didn't save mine, so I'll have to refill mine out as we go. So carry on.
oh, excellent. Okay, well,
Oh,
who are you picking between Philadelphia and Montreal?
I'm picking Philly. I
I
think
would, I
with
would pick
how they
Philly as
played. I mean, if they can
well.
get past Carey Price, but yeah, I think in the series of seven, they'll. I don't think they'll have any issues.
Okay. Say, I'm not even sure how many games to put on that. I really don't care about the number of games in these picks because it's like I don't know. I could miss this both ways, so it's more of
Mm-hmm.
a random number. This probably just says, I just make them all seven and hope that I'm right.
Yeah.
But no, Philadelphia is one of the teams that looks like they have their head squarely on their shoulders and know how they
Yes.
want to play right now. Um, and so I think in a 7 game series, you're gonna be such a better team than Montreal. They're not gonna be able to figure out a way to find 4 wins out of 7 on you as the Habs.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Tampa Bay and Columbus. This one,
I know.
ooh, baby, yeah.
Uh, I have such a hard time deciding on this one. So 1 minute I'm like, okay, I think Tampa Bay's ready. I think they're angry, and then it's like, man, but remember what they did last year? Remember what Columbus did last year to them? Ugh.
Uh-huh.
So, I think this one's going seven.
Okay.
And
I have it going 7 games too, just out of hope because I think it's going to be a
yes, that too.
back back and forth kind of battle. That's going to be fantastic to watch.
That too. And I'm gonna go with Columbus, but confidence is
Really?
not high with that
Okay.
pick.
Okay. Um, so I'm going with Columbus as well. Um,
All right.
Part of that because I figure, okay, maybe if Tampa Bay loses, they'll fire their coach, and then Detroit can have him.
Hey,
Uh,
there you go. There's hope.
that then reunite him with Eisenman and do this whole thing differently.
Oh
But
yeah.
I
You can
don't know
dream,
why you would
can't
have
you?
to leave Florida to go work in Michigan. But whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess the way I see this series playing out is I feel like Columbus wins it in a long series. I figure if it's going to be a fast series, it will be Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I don't think Tampa Bay is going to go get swept by Columbus again.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, this is the second time they're seeing this team, and this team probably isn't as powerful as the team they faced last year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know though that Tampa Bay is going to be as powerful as they were the previous year.
Also
It
agree.
looks like maybe Hedman's going to actually miss some time with his injury. It's kind of hard to know these days what somebody has just because of the rules that the NHL has for reporting injuries.
Yeah.
They were allowed to make it even more vague than normal, so that's great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Um, he's a critical piece to their puzzle. Tampa Bay did go out though and get guys like Blake Coleman and Pat Maroon to bring in maybe a different style of hockey, more playoff style of hockey than what they had last year at this time, or
Mm-hmm.
at this situation last year.
Right. Oh,
And
speaking of
so,
which, sorry, I got to
mhm.
rant about the stupidest stat I saw at the beginning of the qualifying round. I don't remember who it was. He's like, "Oh, he's the first hockey player to score a goal in the month of August." Like,
Yeah, I
really?
saw that too. Yep,
Like, of
yep.
course he is. Uh, uh Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought that was
Um,
ridiculous, but whatever.
what was also ridiculous was all the citing of the facts of in NHL 5 game series is the team that wins the first game wins the series like 85% of the time. It's just kind of like you're
Right?
going back how many
Yeah, so
years?
this was last. When was the last time they did 5 game series?
It was just it was another stupid stat. But we
Yeah.
could go on for a long time about stupid stats.
Oh yes, sometimes they're great, and sometimes they're stupid. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, but no, the one thing I do think that Columbus has going for it is if they have a goaltender that's not playing well, they have another option.
Yeah.
I think honestly, you could interchange Korpisalo and Merzlikins, and you're going to be fine either way.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay can't do that. If Vasilevsky's on or Vasilevsky's off,
Oh yeah.
that's what we have for goaltending, and so uh, that's interesting to me.
Yep, I
Um,
agree with that.
so fun series to watch, but I think we're both kind of leaning on one foot, closing one eye, saying I
Mm-hmm.
think Columbus,
Yep.
uh, but will not be surprised if it's Tampa Bay.
Yep. Same here.
Okay. Washington and the New York Islanders.
This one's such a toss-up. I think it's gonna be Washington, which pains me because I'm pretty sure I had the Islanders going to the Cup final this year, but I just don't know. My confidence in them is not as high as it was at the beginning of the year, so
Mm-hmm.
I think Washington will redeem themselves from last year and take it.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm actually taking the Islanders in this series, and this is where our brackets are going to really start to change because then we're going to have different seedings for the next round of
Mm-hmm.
who's going to play who.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be weird.
Potentially, we'll
Yep.
see.
Yep.
Um, here's my rationale for picking the Islanders over Washington. Is one, you have Barry Trotz going back and playing his old team.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something that to that. If you want somebody who knows how to shut down Ovechkin for 4, 5, 6 games, if you want somebody that knows how good Backstrom is at distributing the puck, if you want somebody that knows where TJ Oshie's going to be in certain situations to make that one play that's like he's worth having for, if you want somebody that knows how to get around Carlson's
Yeah.
defense, even though he doesn't play that great defense, um,
But he's
this
up
is
for the
your guy.
Norris.
This is your guy. And so uh, I feel like as far as a team knowing another team, the Islanders should know the Capitals better than
Yeah,
the Capitals know the Islanders.
I
The
can see
Islanders
that.
do play playoff hockey. The
Yeah.
the way the Islanders though are going to win is in close, tight games.
Yes.
They will not come back from in games if they're down 3-0. They will not come back from series if they're down 2-0. They're
Mm-hmm.
not designed to work that way.
No, they
They
want to grind you down and keep it close.
yes, yep. They're in it for the long haul. They're marathon runners. And so the only thing that would change is if the Capitals come out hot and Ovechkin is man on the mission like he was when they won the cup
Right.
of just flying for it. And he may be because he's winning this next one for Ila Kovalchuk,
Right.
his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we see that. I don't really know that we will. Uh, the Capitals are always a good team, but I think they're still a beatable team.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I won't be surprised if Islanders do win it. Eh, I'm
Yeah,
hedging
I mean,
hard.
yeah. I'm not supremely confident in the Islanders, but I think that if there's a team that's going to do it, it's going to be the Islanders should be able to beat somebody.
Right.
Um, I find it hard for them to go out in the next round. I don't see that team falling apart that way. Um, because what happened last year is the Islanders swept Pittsburgh, sat for a while, and then had to go play a hot Carolina team that came off of 7 games after beating Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't get their feet underneath them, and just kept getting behind in every game they were playing, got behind in the series, and it just fell apart. So they
Fell apart
swept Pittsburgh.
rather quickly.
Yeah, yeah. They weren't quite ready for that. So, all right, so that's that one.
Okay.
Then you have Boston and Carolina, and this is a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final
Mm-hmm.
last year, where Boston swept Carolina after Carolina had swept the Islanders after the Islanders had swept Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
hoping the Blues would sweep Boston to keep the trend going, but that didn't happen sadly. Although we got a game seven,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'll take
yeah.
it.
Blue still won. Bruins
Yep,
still lost. I was happy.
yep.
Okay. How do
Uh,
you see the Boston Carolina playing out?
I think Boston's gonna win this one. I think they'll come out on top.
Okay.
Um,
How many games do you think that will take them?
I think six. I
Okay.
think I think Carolina will give them a run for their money,
Hmm.
and especially if everybody can stay healthy and all that good stuff. But I mean, again, I believe they swept the Rangers, right, in the qualifying round.
Uh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they took care of business pretty quick.
yeah. So I mean, again, they're coming off a sweep again, but who knows? I think it'll be a good series. I think Boston will come out on top.
Okay.
Who do you have in it?
I had this one only lasting 5 games, um, but I have Carolina mopping the floor with Boston.
Oh, all
So
right.
Carolina, in my opinion, is a team on a mission this year. You made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you got swept.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's a lot of motivation in that locker room
To,
to make something happen and to be like, okay, guys, here's your first step out the door to go win the cup. You got to go
mm-hmm.
beat the guys that knocked you out last year.
Right.
There's a lot of motivating factor to that. They played really, really well. I know the Rangers were not set up to play playoff hockey yet.
No.
They're a young team. Their coach is young. I saw him make a few mistakes just from a coaching standpoint at a number of spots. When you do and don't pull a goaltender, how
Mm-hmm.
you do and don't use a timeout. Um,
Yeah. Oh.
that you get more. If you want to call a timeout after a goal to kind of slow things down, you don't call a timeout. You get 60 seconds. You challenge something minuscule on the play and make them go review it for 2 minutes. You get a
Mm-hmm.
longer timeout and break momentum more and put some doubt in the other team's mind as to whether or not it was a goal. That's how you do that.
Right.
He was like, nope, take a timeout, 60 seconds. Okay, that didn't seem to matter. Um,
Yeah.
so, and maybe change your goaltender at that point so he has more time to get out on the ice, stretch, warm up, get
Mm-hmm.
into it, kind of thing. That's how you properly do that and how other good coaches do that. David Quinn's still learning in that regard.
Right. Yep.
Now, it'll be easier to learn with Alexei Lafreniere next year, but whatever.
Yeah. It's amazing what
Um,
happens when you have talent to cover up mistakes.
yeah, I think Brendan Moore is a good coach. I think he knows his guys. He knows game situation. He knows what buttons to push. He also doesn't have Dougie Hamilton right now. May have him for this series or for the second
Right.
part of the series. So what they did without Dougie Hamilton or Pesci. Those
That's
like
true
two of their
too.
top 3 defensemen, along with Jacob Slavin, and basically you did it standing on one of your 3 legs defensively, and their team still played really, really well defensively. This is a team that if you put an e-bug in, they can still beat the Toronto Maple Leafs because their team can lock down and play really good defense.
What a rough year for Toronto.
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
oh man.
while at the same time their top line, watching Teravainen, Svechnikov, and Aho play was
Yeah.
a thing of beauty. It really, really is. Watching this young, skilled group play together is very entertaining to me. Um, so this part is just hoping they keep moving on. As part of me that wants to see Boston out of this thing,
Oh
and
yes.
so I'm saying, all right,
Same
forget
here.
it. Let's knock Boston out. I'm gonna say Carolina's gonna make it happen.
All right. I won't be shocked if Carolina does. I just think it's hard to bet against Boston in the first round.
I totally get that. I get that. This is what I'm saying. I felt like Boston was playing the long game of we don't need to
Mm-hmm.
win these games.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they knew they were going to get Carolina, they might have tried a little bit harder. Because I think if there's one team coming in that they didn't want to play, it would have been Carolina.
Right. Yeah. I would agree.
So
Okay.
then our second rounds are going to look different in the East.
Yep.
So mine is going to be Philadelphia playing Columbus,
Which that's mine right now.
which is probably yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have in that?
I have Philly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take Philly as well.
So yeah, I'm buying into Philly.
Yep, agreed. So then I have Carolina playing the Islanders, and I
Okay.
have Carolina winning that series again.
Yep.
Um, I think we'll dispatch the Islanders again. It may take a few more games than a sweep.
Yeah.
That's where I have it. What do you have between Capitals and Boston? Because you have a heck of a series going there.
Yeah, I have Capitals coming out of that one.
Okay. So then you're Philadelphia versus Capitals in the
Mm-hmm.
conference final. Who do you have going to the Cup?
Philly.
Okay. I also have Philly going to the Cup,
Okay.
beating Carolina.
Okay.
Uh, However, I'm rooting for Carolina. Out of the
Oh,
East,
yeah.
I'm rooting for Carolina, then probably Columbus.
Yep.
I
I
would
would
say would be
agree.
the two coming out that if they go, I'll be perfectly happy.
Yep. I would agree with that. Like, honestly, for me, out of the East, the only one I really don't want to go see is Boston again.
Yep.
All the rest of the teams, I'm fine with.
Okay.
So,
So let's transition to the Western Conference
alrighty.
before we run out of podcast time. Um, Vegas, Chicago.
I got
Safe to say we're both going Vegas.
Vegas. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Vegas handling them as they should.
Yep.
Probably Robin Lehner standing out his head and just being like, "Oh, so you guys signed me and then traded me away? Interesting."
Yeah, revenge
No,
tour. Come on, let's go.
yeah. So that'll be fun to watch. The
Mm-hmm.
games will be too late for me to watch. They'll all be like
Oh
10:30.
yeah. Ugh.
So I'm not going to see much of that series. So I'll catch up
Maybe a
in the second.
weekend.
Weekend for sure. Like, oh my gosh, Friday, Saturday night, am I doing sleeping
Mm-hmm.
Sunday? And just say I'll start the week with less sleep. I'll make it up throughout, and then no.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Then Colorado, Arizona.
I have Colorado.
I have Colorado as well. This one I'm a little less sure
All right.
on.
I have it
I
going
feel.
6.
Yeah, and right now I have Vegas, Chicago going 6, and Colorado, Arizona going 5. I probably should flip that around.
I have Vegas going 5. So,
Yeah. Um, Colorado, I just feel is more again kind of a team on a mission this year.
oh yeah.
You know, they got so close last year to
Mm-hmm.
moving on, and then yeah, that was rough. Um, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they've gotten better this season. Some of these teams, like they're still as good as they were last season. Colorado, I believe, is better this season than they were last year. So I
Yep.
feel like anything less than a conference final appearance would be seen as a failure for Colorado.
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard to bet against Arizona because they have such great goaltending. But I think
They,
Colorado will be able to work around that and get that solved.
yep. Um, but that'll be another fun series
Oh
to
yes,
watch.
that'd be a great series.
Okay, then we have Dallas, Calgary.
Oh, I gotta go the Homer. I gotta go Calgary.
Okay. I have Dallas sweeping Calgary.
Sweeping. Oh my.
I think Dallas is going to be another really difficult team
Mm-hmm. I think
this
they're gonna
year.
turn it on once they
I,
start the
I, I
playoffs.
think really it's going to come down to goaltending, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Dallas has two goaltenders they could play either night and win. I feel like Calgary has two goaltenders they could play either night and find a way to lose.
Right. Oh,
Um,
Cam Talbot. That last game. He kind of sat on his head, and
I
if he can
also,
do that, but
okay, if
but
Sagan and Radulov get injured in the first game, Calgary will win the series.
yeah,
I'll go with
yeah, but yeah. No, the goaltending has not been consistent for Calgary, so definitely understand where you're coming from on that one. I have it going 7 because I'm hopeful, but yeah.
that. Yeah, it's
Uh,
going to be as far as a color matchup goes. That's going to be a very Christmassy series,
oh yes,
so that'll be nice.
yes
Okay,
indeed.
and then the St. Louis Vancouver series.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
I
see that one?
I have St. Louis winning in 6.
Okay, I took Vancouver winning in 7.
Ooh.
So again, this is where I'm saying, okay, Boston, St. Louis. I have them both losing in the first round, even though I don't like they're not playing well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Boston, St. Louis could end up in the final, and I wouldn't be like, I didn't see that coming. I could
Sure.
see it coming. I'm just trying to make some predictions here of you got to throw in some upsets
Oh yeah, because
and
they're gonna happen, just not sure where.
yes. And so I'm like, okay, well, I took 3 upsets actually in the East. I'm only taking one in the West.
It
Um,
bounces, sure. Eh.
I don't necessarily know how Vancouver is going to beat St. Louis in 7 games. I don't have a roadmap for that. Yeah, because the St. Louis is a really strong team. I
I
mean,
agree.
they're still a cup winning team in my opinion. It'd be really weird for them to bow out this early.
Yeah, I can't bet against them this early, so.
So I see this where it's like after 2 games it's 1-1, and after 4 games it's 2-2, and after
Mm.
6 games it's 3-3.
Right.
They're just going to keep trading back and forth, and maybe somebody will put together 2 wins, and they'll be down in the series 2-1, and then they'll be up in the series 3-2, and the other team will bounce back. I could see this kind of ping pong back and
Oh
forth.
yeah. What a
You know,
series that would be if it did go 7. That would be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So then I end up with Vegas playing Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just take Vegas at that point because I think Vegas is a very strong team, and I think
Yes.
honestly they'll beat whoever they play in the second round as well.
I
Watch, they
agree.
won't beat Chicago, but whatever.
Yeah.
What does your second round matchup look like for Vegas?
It's Vegas Calgary, and I have Vegas advancing.
Okay. And then for your Colorado Calgary series, how do you have that one going?
I have for which one?
Colorado Calgary.
Oh, no, actually, for mine, Vegas
Oh,
and Calgary will match up, and then Colorado and St. Louis will match up.
that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, wait.
Uh, so how do
Um,
you Colorado and St. Louis gone?
I have Colorado coming out ahead on that one.
I have Colorado beating Dallas.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
both have Vegas, Colorado in the Western Conference Final.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go for that one?
I'm sticking with my preseason prediction and going with Vegas, even
Okay.
though I think that will be a tough series, like a very
That,
tough series.
that will be a very, very entertaining series,
Yes.
for sure. Um, yeah, I'm assuming they'll be playing these games as like a 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock game because
Yeah, I
you're
would
gonna
guess.
right, which would
Yeah.
be great because I can watch both of these games and be in bed.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they'll probably play on alternating days,
Mm-hmm. And then
so
do the East first and the West
they
second.
should well they should also just be 8 o'clock games.
Right.
Would be my guess. I
Yeah,
hope.
I would think the same.
Um, okay, so then you have Philadelphia playing Vegas for the Cup.
That's correct.
Who do you have hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Vegas.
I have Philadelphia playing Colorado
Mm-hmm.
for the Cup, and I have Philadelphia hosting the Cup.
Ooh, all right.
So there you have it. We have a lot of similarities and a lot of differences.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of seems to be our MO. Like
Yeah,
80% of it's the same, and then the other
and
20 is like, what? Whoa, that's.
and we're about 20% correct most of the time. So if you're
Yeah.
listening to this and you still have time, bet against us.
Right?
Uh,
Yes.
It's the
Well,
best thing you
just fill out
take.
second bracket and do opposite picks and see how we do.
I mean, take Arizona beating Tampa Bay, and you will be
Yeah.
in the money.
Yes, indeed.
So that is our predictions for this upcoming
Mm-hmm.
playoff.
Yeah, should be good. It's definitely nice to have hockey back. That's for sure.
Indeed.
Didn't realize how much I missed it until it was back. It's like, oh, hockey, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
How many goals do you think will be scored in your Stanley Cup final? Just because that's in the bracket.
I never know. I always put like 30. Have 32 this year, but I never actually know what the final number is, because I always
Oh,
forget to check from last year, kind of thing. What do
yeah.
you have?
I have 24 because I think it's going to be a shorter series.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I think Colorado is probably going to be fairly exhausted by the time they get through their path.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
Philadelphia will have the depth. I think honestly, the part of me says Philadelphia is a deeper team than the Avalanche, um,
Right. Yep.
particularly defensively.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Certainly in goaltending.
Yeah.
So,
That too.
but yeah, that's how I see it all
That sounds
breaking
good.
out.
And if it doesn't happen that way, I will not be surprised. So,
But either way, I'll be watching and enjoying it.
yes, same here. Same here. Can't wait to see how everything finishes out and press on to next season.
Indeed. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, do you have anything else you wish to discuss, bring up, rant about tonight?
No, the only thing I would mention is I'll be interested in seeing how these playoffs are called penalty-wise. Um,
Yes, I
there have
agree.
been a lot of stick penalties, a lot of tripping, hooking,
Mm-hmm.
slashing, because guys are out of position after being off for 4 months.
Yep.
Uh, Guys are getting beat a bit easier and committed penalties to make up for it. I would assume that that would change going forward as guys get into better condition
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the whistles get swallowed a little bit more. There's been a number of penalties I thought were maybe a little ticky tacky.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
I haven't seen a whole lot of penalties. I was like, wow, how did they not call that? There was one tripping penalty last night in the Toronto game when it was still, I think it was 2-0 at that point, where Marner was coming across the ice and got his foot caught up in a defender's stick and went down, and they didn't call a tripping penalty. And I thought that was like, you could have called a tripping penalty right there. I think it was
Eh,
just one of those game situational things where the refs are just kind of like,
eh,
unless he hacks at his legs and he goes down, I'm not calling anything.
right.
Uh, knowing how much we talked about it last year,
Oh yeah.
uh, and the drama went through and the rules that have changed this year because of that, I'm curious to see what things look like this year.
Yeah. Same here. Because I think, if I remember right, when the Flames Jets games, each team had 6 power plays. It's like, gee whiz, people, come on. Like, seriously?
Mhm.
But okay. So yeah, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it'll be a non-story moving forward this year. So
Yep, yep. They call the penalties that are there,
uh huh.
and they don't call the ones that aren't.
Yes, that we can hope.
Mhm.
So well, if there's nothing else you want to bring up, I am Justin,
I'm Alexander.
and we are the Hockey Podcast that you're about to hear what you just did. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.